Oh, it's good to be back. Objectivity never has a greater Phoenix metaphor been personified in human history. Therefore, if I'm saying anything, it's welcome back to the Stark Expo.
Shit, that tightened us up real quick.
Well, bro, I felt like it was like a curtain, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? They show me in the back, like, ooh. That's how you, boy. That's how we start every show.
Tightened us up, man. I feel like I was about to walk into the ring or something.
Yeah, like, you know, the little fireworks and shit going on. Like, I'm coming down to Ted DiBiase out there. You know what I mean?
And he was one of my favorites.
Oh yeah,
man. Listen, but how you feeling, brother?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good, bro. Just it's Friday morning. Feeling good, man. Feeling real good, bro. It was a long work week, you know what I mean? But we here, man. Friday finally. Facts, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this most recent episode. I'll get a little quick recap.
Let's get into it, man.
We'll get to, I started last time, you start this time.
All right.
Just quick, we don't have to really run through recap the show, but let's kind of go through what we liked about it, what our initial thoughts, and then maybe go and kind of have some callbacks within some of the scenes that may be pertinent to what we're trying to say.
Okay. All right, so this episode 4, titled "The Tomb," and we sort of again, not to recap it, but what I felt like automatically is like, even though I know we just left off with them in the desert, but them pretty much after they turn back to stars, I still feel like I'm waking up, not waking up, but I'm here and I don't know how I got here, if that makes sense. Like, even though this episode was way more connected to the last episode than episode 3 was, whereas when we woke up with episode 3, it was like, oh shit, okay, we're in Egypt now, and all right, so we running through Cairo or wherever it was.
Yeah,
okay.
We had skipped a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we skipped a lot.
Episode 3, yeah.
This one doesn't do that as much, but I still feel like it did. Like I still feel like, all right, well, because this is the second straight episode where I feel like I don't really know what show I'm watching. I feel like I'm watching an entirely different show than it was last week. So we introduced a lot of we got like new monsters in this one. They pick up right where when Khonshu, the little figure thing, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big improvement from last episode. I like this episode a little bit more. But man, I'm like, I hate to make it about this, but I'm like, bro, I didn't sign up for the amazing adventures of Layla.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for Moon Layla.
Yeah.
Layla Knight.
Yeah.
That's not what I came here for.
Yeah.
Nothing against the actress. But it's like, man, like, I'm seeing her do all this amazing stuff, you know what I mean? Because they love using that word, amazing, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, so, she single-handedly takes down the bandits or the soldiers or whatever. She throw a flare at the truck, take them out. Mark literally is unconscious. He's useless in the first 5-10 minutes, whatever, of the episode. So it's like, then Steven wakes up. And Steven got control of her body. Yeah, man, I'm just I like the show, but I like this episode better than the last one. But I feel like we getting into the adventures of Layla. It's becoming her story, and I'm like, I still don't know what I need to know about Mark, Steven, Khonshu, Moon Knight. I need that explained. And we in episode 4, and we in the truck arguing about, well, weren't you going to tell me? You and Steve made the decision to get out of my life without telling me. And I'm like, what are we doing, man? we just wasted 15, 20 minutes of the first 15, 20 minutes on Layla. And I really just want to get to Moon Knight and Mark and Steve. Like I really want to get to where we going with this, because it can't. I'm still like befuddled by the end of the episode. I mean, I know we're gonna get to that, but like the ending was really that was like, it's like I guess you would call it the crescendo, I guess, of this episode is that that scene in the mental institute. But overall, man, my thoughts is just I'm a little confused on I mean, I could tell there's two distinct directions. I would have to look at exactly who directed this episode, but it feels different from the last episode, and it just feels like two different shows. Like,
yeah, it feel like the first two episodes were connected,
right?
But episode 3 and 4 are independent.
Two independent,
way independent of what we walked into. Right, yeah. We walked into they set up groundwork in episodes 1 and 2. Then there was a lot of like episode 3. You could, whether it was because they had the actor who had passed away, so that was probably natural things they had to kind of cut out. But ultimately, it was it seemed like you said, it seemed like a patchy episode.
Yes,
right. Yeah. Whereas this one got back to having its pace, because going from episode 3 to going to episode 4 is almost like you went from like episode 3 was like a standing still, and they just started running.
Yeah,
like they started running out of nowhere. Like, hold on, man, what happened at the end to the point we already running? Where this one got back to its regular pace. But to your point about what you didn't sign up for, when I get back to me, I look at it like me personally, I didn't sign up for the Steven show, right? Like, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I feel about the same like that one, like, and I feel like I didn't catch it at first, because that's what it seemed like to me. It really is. It's the Steven and Layla thing,
Layla show, yeah,
as opposed to what I was walking into: Mark, Moon Knight, Khonshu.
Well, you're not even getting the real Steven, are you? Because that's not. I'm sorry, but that's not Steven. That's, I mean, and I
100%. Like,
that's not even.
He's a pivotal character in this, but he's really supposed to be the result of. He's supposed to be 100%. So they changed him. So but he's not even the real person. He's the even if he was even if he was the millionaire person, he's still part of. He's still what Mark came up with.
Yeah,
he's one of Mark's personality, but Mark is supposed to be the main character.
And they've sidetracked him and downplayed him. To boost Layla. I don't understand this, man. I'm really.
Well, I got a theory.
I got you. We're gonna get to that. Yeah. I'm just really confused, man, on where and we'll get into this a little bit later. I just don't. I don't get why they continue to do this with these shows. It's like, boom, I'm gonna show you in the first 2 episodes, you see all this stuff, and you like, man, it reminds you of the movie. It reminds you of the MCU overall and the movies, and there's callbacks. There's nostalgia, but then when we get into the development of the main character, we end up highlighting another character. It's like they keep doing this. So I don't know if they changed Steven to fit Layla better because Mark is just, it's like these lines, man. She has a line where she's like, well, this suit was his best feature, right? He doesn't even have that anymore. What? Like, what is that supposed to mean? And then she's like flirting with Steve when she's like hooking up the
100%.
And she's like, like, what are we doing, man? I don't understand.
I think you just said it. Whenever they went through the creative part of it,
right, and we have to change. Like, Steve can't be a billionaire and Mark a badass mercenary. We can't have that. So we have to like neuter or like, you know what I mean? We have to nerf Steven and make him like a weakling to boost up Layla. But I'm like, why do we continue to do it? Why do we do this, man? Why are you
Mhm.
selling me the show? I get okay with like Loki. I get that because it's like, okay, we've seen Loki's done a lot, man. You know, we talked about this last week. Loki's had a big impact on the MCU. Like he's a major villain. He's one of the better villains in the MCU that always gets criticized for his villains. He's one of the better ones. I get sort of sidetracking him at this point, saying, okay, all right, let's bring in some new blood. All right, female Loki. I don't even know who Moon Knight is, and we're building up Layla. Why am I supposed to care about Layla?
And to your point about Loki, I didn't mean to cut you.
No,
They had already made, like, Loki came in savage, and he had already kind of not been as, you know, get what I'm saying? Like, there was a character development, character arc with him, right? By the time they got to Ragnarok, right? Like, he wasn't the same guy. So, like you said, you saw a whole from when he got to the point where he was with Sylvie, right? Where it wasn't shocking. You get what I'm saying? Like, because he already, it wasn't like they took, like, 2012, he's with the T'Challa, he running through the streets, he shooting people, he doing all this and all that. He wasn't that guy anymore in the MCU. Right. So we already had we had years.
We've seen the arc, right? Yeah, exactly.
Years to get to.
We've seen the development. We've seen the growth. We've seen this guy change from, you said, savage to this this sort of jealous.
He had more of a human element.
He was like a despot or whatever. You know what they call it? You know what I mean? He was a despot. He was an exile. You know, like an exile prince or whatever. You know, he was going on his mission. Like, I'm gonna be a god no matter what. I'm gonna be powerful no matter what. And he was, again, like you said, we've seen this entire arc.
Yes.
Him change and turn around only to be brutally murdered. And it was tragic. You know what I mean? And we was like, wow, like that was a part of Thor's story. He was like a part of his story that had come to an end. You were like, wow, man, seeing Loki come a long way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one guy, he wasn't, what's the name? It wasn't the guy who got his neck snapped.
That was not the same
but
guy.
It was a whole arc. So, like I say, when you put the guy that was in the TV show, okay, cool, right? And then and then we actually got Sylvie's story too. So we got to see how wide awake she was.
Yeah.
So beyond, like, you know, whatever if we want to go to the point where we're saying they did this to try to put Loki this way so they can make her look this way, probably so, but at least they gave us why it happened.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the thing, why she would have beef with the TVA, why she would be as stone cold as she was, and why she was on this mission because of what happened through the story, right? Through the story. Like I said, we don't like those moments. I'm with you. Those moments where it was like, okay, they on this Indiana Jones type adventure, but we still dealing with this personal thing, and we're not getting to, like, we don't know. I don't know if we know enough to justify that level of whether time or even being that impactful in the story. Because right now that shouldn't be an impact. If they did a season 2, I get it. You get what I'm saying? Because
and they said
you went through the whole thing, because you get a whole thing about Mark and Steven and all this stuff. So that by the time Mark, Steven, Khonshu, Amit, the Egyptian gods, so now we can get into the personal side in season 2. Hell, they didn't even do that with Falcon, right?
Right.
They didn't even do that with Falcon when we got to the point where it was like we got to see him. He had already been in a bunch of movies. They didn't even get into his kind of personal thing that he would have relationship wise or where another person could have an impact on him, right? Like, we didn't get to that, right? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Like I say, I'm with you. It feels like and a lot of people enjoyed it, and I thought it was good. But I don't know. I know I cut you off, and I didn't let you finish your thoughts yet, and I'm gonna let you get back to that. But yeah, it was like that whole moment of going through all that, but then seeing her kind of son doing that thing where you like, when you know you might meet a girl and she got a dude, but she start giving you the little lines about, like, hold on, you know you're talking about me, right? I am that guy. This is the same body, B. Like, right. Yeah, the best part of him is the suit. Like, no, him, he is I, and I am him.
Yeah, like he can hear you.
Yeah,
He's here. because I'm him. You know, we're
I'm
the
him.
same guy. Like,
yeah.
we got his personalities are different, but he's here. So, but I just again, the reason why I focus in on things like that is because it's hard for me to get over. It's like you say, you say you watch movies and you watch shows and you try to figure out what's happening. I try to figure out what the hell happened, like what's going on and why people say certain things. Just like I know I bring it up a lot, but I always bring up the two lines that just completely broke the Eternals for me, because there was no context. Without context, because it's like, wow, it's like, why did she say that? Why would you say this is the shooter's best part? And again, why I bring up Eternals is the two lines in Eternals that I always bring up is, oh, I've always wanted to clip your wings. When he said Fasto said that to Icarus when at the fight scene on the beach, I've always wanted to, oh, you've always underestimated her. None of that is supported by any context within the movie. There's no scene in the movie where there's where Icarus is underestimating I forgot her name, the Circe.
Yeah.
Where he's underestimating Circe. There's no context, there's no scene in the movie where him and Fastor are having a back and forth. Even though the movie is over 2 hours long, right?
We never saw none of that.
We never saw that. So conflict. It's like you put that in there. That's what I'm saying. So when you put lines like that in there, and I'm paying attention, I'm like, well, they ain't make any damn sense. And when I seen that in this show, I'm like, well, the suit has always been the best part of him. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like when you say stuff like that in the 4th episode, and I got 3 previous episodes and nothing supports that, it's like it breaks the show for me. To the point where I'm like, I can't, like, why did you put that in there? And I'm starting to think, like, are you trying to, like, I don't know. It's just this formula, man. I keep seeing with Marvel, where we denigrate the main character to build up another character. I don't know, but.
And do we think that's a more or less with the I mean, they did it with Eternals, and then maybe that's where that's going to. I don't know if they, with the Eternals, they had a bunch of people, but like, is that more of the TV on the TV show? Because it almost seemed like they're still figuring out this TV thing, right?
Yeah,
right. You get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to shoot them bail. I'm just saying, like we walk in and it's like, oh, MCU got these shows. Well, they hit a fucking home run with WandaVision, right? And maybe there's so many elements work to make that it was good, because they didn't have to do anything. Because they had already did that to Vision, so we can't look at Vision and be like, I had to make Vision a little, because they had already did that with Vision anyway, right? He came in fucking incredible in Ultron. By the time we got to damn Infinity War, he was doing philosophy. He couldn't even talk. He was trying to pull up. He had a whole different. Tony had to tell him. He was like, when he in Civil War, is like, when he hit Rhodey, like, this never happened before, and like was. Vision couldn't even tell him how that happened. He couldn't even tell him how it happened, right?
Vision, make him a glider.
Yeah, so it had already kind of, we saw that, and like I said, we had movies to get to that point, right?
Yeah, and real quick, just let me.
Go ahead.
My bad, man. My bad. I ain't mean to. I want to get off. Let's get back on this. I'm gonna get back on the story, but that bugged me to the point where it takes me out of the story when I hear things like that, lines that don't make sense or don't have anything to support them. I'm just like,
because they have done like not one flashback in this show, like for a show that for all the flashbacks they do in the other kind of things,
right? No, I was just saying, but getting back, man, to just the story, the overall the episode in itself, I enjoyed. For the most, like you said, the pacing I felt like was really improved. The action scenes were pretty good, man. It's just I think it's a well-directed episode, man. Again, it definitely fits right in there with the movies like The Mummy, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Pyramid, Egyptian,
all that.
Looking for the Lost Tomb type movies. Mm-hmm. It's right there, man. This is it. This is the Marvel
version of that.
This is the Marvel version of that, man. They do a good job. Just the monsters. even though I don't know where the hell the monsters came from.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah,
there's
they
no
was just
setup.
there.
They just
Yeah,
this is what I mean about like we're just here. There's no setup for these monsters, but they just pop up and man, they like relentless, right? You know, and we don't see the Moon Knight at all in this episode. So Layla with no suit, with no Moon Knight powers, fights the monster off.
yeah.
And I don't think she took a scratch, right?
No.
So yeah, that's like there's like these mummy soldiers, I guess. These like dead soldiers. But yeah, we don't really know where they came from. But like I said, yeah, overall, I think this was a good episode. I'm not
Yeah.
completely trash the episode. It's just the weird lines kind of threw me off. There's some exposition here. There's like some teasing. We're getting there. It's this big reveal that we know is coming. This big twist that we know is coming. And they do a good job at building the anticipation for that. You know what I mean? It's man, overall, it sounds like I didn't, man, but I actually like this episode.
And I just want to kind of rephrase some of the points, and I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. It's the thing is, give us the context of why certain things, because it's 2 points, right? It's the Layla got a story,
Yeah,
but we don't have a context of why. Like the most we got was when she was talking to the lady who gave her the passport. Like, oh, she out here doing, she been doing things. She might got trained and she used to run with her father. She has a lot of things that she had done, and then we don't even know in the context of why their relationship is so important, right? Because we don't like, okay, what makes their relationship so important, right? Just what,
right. We have nothing to go off of, right?
We just her father getting shot ain't enough. Yeah. Like him being there, but that's not enough.
There's no source material, right?
Yeah,
like there's nothing that we can't pick up. I can't pick up a book and be like, oh man, this was Layla's best run right here. You know, you know, in '96, you know, we don't know. Like she's a made up character that we're investing a lot of time into, and they're just dropping things in here, and it's like, well, why is it, wait a minute, what?
Like you say, when you get to the monsters, that's a good point. They had the zombie type monsters in there.
Mm-hmm.
Were they performing things or conjure them up? But they kind of showed us they were sacrificing people.
Yeah, how are they alive? How are they reanimated? Right?
What took place to bring them up, and then secondarily, then all of a sudden they're nowhere around when they get to the point where they got Steve. Like when they remember they got the Mark and Steve at the end or whatever when they got shot.
Oh yeah, okay, we about to get into it. Right.
They were just so like you say, they were here for a minute and then they were never nowhere around.
Right.
So were they just in that area? You know, like they say, the context of it. That's a point. Like there's things that happened with this that just didn't have into the whole episode. The context. That's just like
we already talking about this episode like it's two episodes in one. My bad, because I feel like that ending. That's a separate thing.
That was a whole. Like to your point though.
I'm really talking about the first everything up until that moment because it's going back to a theory you had. You had it. Yeah, you had it. Like. You brought this
just
up
real quick.
Yeah, we'll get to it. What's your thoughts?
It sounds like we trashing.
Yeah.
But the entire time, I was like this.
I was invested. I was confused earlier, but that build up to that, I guess you would say the third act of the episode.
Yeah, it was definitely a third act, right? It was like a movie.
This shit. I was invested. Hell yeah. I was like, that's what we should. But go ahead, man. My bad. But
no. Go ahead. No. Let's keep rocking.
So let's get to it. So, fam, this shit. Now I got a theory. I mean, I think we probably gonna come to the same. We probably going to meet at the same place.
I got a major theory.
Yeah, because I don't. Okay, because we get deeper in there, man. Layla carries this episode, like I'm saying. I know it sounds like I'm just trashing it, but they find a great out so I had to look this up. I really didn't look it up though. I meant to look it up. The lost tomb of Alexander. So it's like what? Like, you know what I mean? So
that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what? So
because I think they still looking for him.
Again, they got us on this string, right? Where we just looking like they got you. Once you because the pacing in this episode is so good.
Yeah.
That third part of the episode carries you like to the point where you can't take your eyes off. You just like, man, what is he doing, man? He opening up the tomb. He digging in the mummy's mouth. He digging down. He finds the thing in the mummy's mouth. It's Ahmet's
little figurine thing. Yeah.
It's her voice. Or no, I'm sorry, right? Voice? No, it's the voice of or not. It was the reason it was in the mouth.
Yeah, because they were saying that what Alexander was, or what somebody they explained it like that. Yeah, you said
the voice I'm at.
Yeah, it was the voice, and they knew they had to go into the grill.
So this is huge, man.
Yeah,
it's
a
like
big deal.
Now because we're talking about ancient history.
Yeah,
of the MCU in the MCU world, right? So we like, all right. So Steve getting closer and closer to something, and he like, man, what is this? What's about to happen, bro? Because you know something is coming. He digging into the mummy. He pulls out Ahmet's figurine. All the while, Harold is just spitting game at Layla, right? He like, hey, look, shit.
And he's sitting down with it.
I mean, you tell me, like, you know what I mean? Shit, I mean, it's whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to tell you. And he's sitting down. He got this look where he just like no emotion, you know, he's very calm, just telling her the truth. Like, yeah, you know, your dad had a scarf, right? Just look into that. You know what I mean? Mark was there, right? I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying, you know, I mean, he was there. Your dad was there.
You know, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, you know. So she getting emotional and all this, you know what I mean? And again, it's another line in there, but I'm not even going. There's a line where she like, why do men like you always have to be so condescending? Again, why is this line in there? You know what I mean? Like, why are we even saying that? Because it comes and goes, right? It's in one ear and out the other. It has nothing to do with anything, right? It has no bearing on what he's going to say or what he's done, or it's just whatever. You know what I mean? It's a throwaway line. So, but again, I was still locked in, like, stupid line. But I'm like, again, man, the editing in this last scene, bro, we like cutting back and forth. Her finding out about her dad. Steve about to discover, and they meet, right? They finally meet. Where she comes in, she clearly upset. Steve, he excited because he just made like this big discovery. First of all, Steve went from a gift shop, a guy who works in a gift shop, to now like the world's #1 archaeologist, like overnight, right?
Yeah, he Indiana.
This motherfucker Indiana Steve, right? So. He find it, and I felt like this was a great scene, and I really enjoyed that part. Her finding out about her dad, him just making this huge discovery about Ahmet's voice and Alexander's tomb, and man, they just take all that, bro. And what they do, man, because they just take that, turn it on his ear, take you out, just completely snatch you out of that entire. And we end up because you don't even see it coming, right? Did you see it coming?
No,
bro. Because I'm looking at it like I know what I'm watching. I'm like, oh, this shit about to go down because she know about her dad now. She got questions for this man, and he really ain't got the answers. You know what I mean? Mark, because at this point, I think Mark show up, right? That's convenient about Steve, by the way. Like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm just
should get real.
I'm just laying back, bro. You got it. You know. So he in the back, and Yeah, Harold comes in, man. He got a pistol.
Old school pistol at that.
He got an old
That's a
school
pistol.
bro.
That's a pistol.
Like, it's crazy how weapons like evolved, right? Because they used to be
Yeah.
like way more like, because you get shot with some shit like that, bro. It's almost like weapons. I don't know. I'm going off, but you get shot with one of them old school pistols, bro. That's like a horrible death, right?
That's a terrible death.
Because it's like a painful death, right? He take 2 to the chest. He don't have a suit on, right? Suit don't show up. We don't know if he somehow like got the power still. We see he take 2 to the chest, and we see blood. He falls into this water that was around the tomb. And he just, he's sitting there, man. He slowly slips out of consciousness, man. And
Yeah.
he wakes up.
And he goes into the distance with that shit.
He goes in, which I'm sure, right? It's like what they call it, that shit in Get Out, the Quiet Place. Is that what? No,
something like that. They use it, but a lot of people comparing that to Get
Out.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Comparing that to Get Out.
Again, let's go back to Marvel. You know what inspired this scene? But they really just be blatantly ripping off shit.
Yeah.
So he falls into the sunken place is what the term I was looking for. The reference. All right, so he falls into this sort of sunken place, and now you know something. I'm watching it. I'm like, man, I know where we going, but I'm like, are they gonna really do this? Are they gonna do it? Man, he wakes up in a mental institution, and right away we notice the 2 guards are Fitzgerald and
whatever Kennedy's middle name is.
Yeah, I forgot Franklin. Shit, Fitzgerald and I said Franklin. Fitzgerald and whatever. I can't remember the other one, but we see the 2 they're orderlies now, and Mark is like, he can't even speak. We see Layla pop up. She's one of the patients. If you look around the room, and again, bro, we're gonna get into it because it's sort of I can already right off the bat. I'm like, I'll pray that this is the show. I hope this is the show. I would take this because this is so fucking different from anything we've seen before. If they do this, where this shit, because if he not really here, I'm like, this I'll take this show. If they want to do this, okay, let's do this. But we know we're not gonna do that. But all right, so we see, who do we see in the room first? I think it's
we saw Crawley.
Crowley. Crowley speaking. Finally,
yeah.
Crowley talking. Crowley is talking. Man, I'm like kind of watching this scene over again, bro. This is a great episode, man. Visually,
yeah.
Visually, this is like one of the
way
best.
They was moving in and out.
Wise, this is one of the best episodes. And I skipped over a part. So remember, the way that we get to the mental institution is it opens up with a VHS video of a show with a character, and his name is Stephen Grant. And he's an explorer.
They told him he was the greatest, one of the
greatest. They said he was the greatest.
He was one of the greatest ones too.
Because man, my mind was going all types of places. I'm like, wait a minute, is this all right? I'm like, finally, are we getting a flashback? And I'm like, I know that ain't supposed to be him. The little kid was like, he was black. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey man, you ain't gonna tell me, Steve. Yeah. Like, that's not him. You know what I mean? No. So, but we hear Stephen Grant, and it clearly starts to you realize like, okay, this is a movie. All right, this is an over exaggerated movie,
like an 80s, 90s archaeologist.
And I haven't really watched any breakdown videos. I will after this, but that archaeologist looked familiar as fuck. Like, that's somebody, right?
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Yeah. So it looks like, like what would you say? You said an 80s show, right? Like an 80s, early 90s. Yeah. It looked like some shit that would have been on damn, like one of them shows, like what's that network? I forgot, but like remember the Hercules Xena days and all that. Like remember
Oh
those shows?
yeah,
Like it
like
looked
the
like one of those early
what
90s
channel was
shows.
that? I know the exact
Yeah.
channel that was showing that.
Yeah, so you see all of okay, so they cut from that. That's clearly a video, that's a show, and we see all the orderlies were people that they fought. The black dude in there from they all there, B. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
from the
Crowley
rant.
there, everybody in his life is in this. His bitch boss is in there.
Yeah, Donna or whatever her name was.
I know
Donna.
you got a theory about that because I know it's something there, but it's pictures on the wall.
And didn't she have something, right? Donna had something. Was she holding a scarab or was she holding?
I think she did.
She even had a line. Like, did she ultimately had a scarab or something?
Mm-hmm. She had,
She had something that was a callback to something earlier in the show. I mean, everything in that thing was a callback.
That's wild, bro. So Layla shows up. They playing like bingo. Layla pop up, man. It's stuff on the wall, bro. It's all types of pictures on the wall. That's calling back to earlier stuff in the show with gods and stuff like that, man. And it's just like, bro, this scene right here, bro. You in another show. You just like, I liked it, man, because I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. This what to me was more interesting, even though this is a great episode, man. I was like, this shit is just, I'm more interested in this than everything y'all have done up to this point because I just didn't know where we were going with that. I like stuff like that too, where the parent, I'm in this world and I don't know how I got there,
Yeah.
So again, this is good stuff, man. This is where it sounded like I was trashing this episode, but this is why I was getting to it, but this is the best episode because everything just clicks, man. Everything calls back, right? He sees a Moon Knight little figure on the floor. He tries to get up out of the wheelchair. It's tied to his leg is tied to the wheelchair like it was to the bed. So you questioning everything now because they're showing you things where it's like this could be this. Well, hey, they can explain everything from this mental institution, right? That this whole thing has been, just a delusion. So what I'm getting to, and I'm gonna let you get in here in a minute. I was real intrigued by this, man. I was real intrigued, and it ain't done yet. But all right, so I'm gonna you tell me what you saw from that point because I was. What was your interpretation from that moment? The moment that we got to the mental institution.
So once we got to the mental institution, you know me because that was one of my that was I like. I think we're in a situation where he's seeing it a certain way.
Yep.
Like everything that happened ain't really happened, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So at first I'm like, you know what I'm saying? That's where we at, right? That's where we at. Like, no, this
like,
really,
I like this. Yeah.
Kind of a situation that it was that. Like, so in the beginning, I was like, this is that. But then as it was going on, right, I'm of the mind that this is a defense mechanism for Steven, or for Mark. This is defense mechanism.
Yeah. As much as I love it, yeah.
He got shot.
He got shot.
So just like the part. So we go through these different steps, right? Okay. This is explaining if you have that mindset. This explain he's strapped up. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what he thought was happening. They got him strapped up because he always trying to run up out of the chair. He always trying to same like with his bed, right? You see all this, even when he got into the Arthur's office, you look up, they go to Amit kind of thing with the, the croc. You see the little hanging little ornament with her, right?
Yeah.
The way Arthur is talking, all these kind of things that are happening, right? Mm-hmm. But then when we got to the part where, okay, then he goes to the thing, he's opening up, he hears the tune, he opened up, he meets Steve. They hike to see each other, like Mark, Steve. So now they two entities meeting each other.
Two separate entities.
They get to the third one. They don't open it.
They didn't open it. Two episodes to go.
They didn't open it.
Right? Stabbed last week that they couldn't explain. Tomb this week that games. But go ahead. Tomb this week that shakes. Like, I want to get out. Whatever was in there wanted to get out.
Wanted to get out, they wouldn't let it out.
Yo, this shit is dope. So that shit was dope. I forgot about that too. Damn, the tomb was shaking. B. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that part and look at what was on the tomb. So there's a lot of stuff happening here, right? Because get to that. We'll go ahead, go from there. So the tomb shaking.
Tomb shaking.
They don't really acknowledge it. They kind of acknowledge it, but they like, nah,
we're not opening that. So I think right now Mark is in a state. Mark, Steve, whatever.
Yeah,
they're really in a defensive state. Like, so something because basically he's probably like realistically in a PTSD kind of. Mm-hmm. He got these things. Whatever situation happens,
trauma.
Where he goes trauma into that. This, exactly. Yeah. So they say trauma triggered the other situations. You explained that well early in some of our other episodes. And this is an episode that's happening. He's gonna have to defeat this to get out of this.
Yeah, he's in his mind. He's trapped in his body, right? He's trapped in his mind. His body's been injured, maybe almost fatally, he's like in some type of critical condition. I think he's in his mind. He's trapped in his body. And this is, like you said, I think he's gonna have to get out of this, but he's now so far into his mind that he now can see his personalities one by one. And there's a third personality. And that's like huge, man. Because it's like, that the villain? Is that the real villain of this? Because we really don't have a villain. We do. It's Harold, but the real villain, the real twist is like, we got 2 episodes to go. I think we can clearly make out what's going to be the twist. It's in terms of what that third personality that was trying to get out had to do with the murder of Layla's father. We're going to get there eventually, but a lot of things happen here. Okay, so they're running together, man, and then they run into wait a minute. I just thought of something. Okay. And I my bad. I'll let you finish. But let's see if we're gonna get to the meet at the same place here. Because what do we see at the end of the episode? I'm sorry, like what do we see? How do we get to the end of the episode? Like what do we
they start they feel he seems like feel like he's starting to get to the point where they're getting chased, and they see the door, so they know they feel like what they feel is his exit. The room kind of leaning back and forth. You know what I'm saying? They trying to get to a.
Who directed this episode? I'm gonna have to look up who this director was. Go ahead.
They're trying to get to the point. I want to share my screen real quick. They was trying to get to a point
because I'm kind of like watching it a little bit. All right.
Do this. So they was trying to get to a point. Let me see. Just want to share this window and see. I don't do that one. I want to do this right here. Yeah, but they it ain't gonna let me do it.
Oh yeah.
I
got that. If you do, all right.
Yeah, they ain't gonna let me do it at all. Like, they got that. They got that.
Yeah, it's blocked. Yeah, they
share. No, that's dope. That's dope.
Like you can't even screenshot pictures when you ever try to do that. You can't even screenshot. It's just a black screen.
Like I would have to already had that. Like maybe if it was on YouTube or something, I probably could do it.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty dope that they do that. Because I just wanted to show this one picture. I was going to show the tomb.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to show the tomb like a still in the show. But actually, the point, like you said, they were going through they started running. They want to get to the exit, and when they got to the exit, the dang on the hippo.
The hippo guy, right?
Yeah.
So
and it's supposed to be like a. Is it what if you could explain it? It was like a fertility kind of. What's her purpose?
So I've seen some breakdown videos on her, and I haven't watched them yet. So I gotta really. I might be wrong, but you said it was a fertility guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question to you is, because you brought up a good theory, I think. You said it's a defense mechanism for Mark. Is it a defense mechanism, or did she bring him here How much was she the one who brought him to this? Is she saving him now? Is she sort of this character that comes in now? Like, look, I'm one of the gods here. You got shot. I'm going to save you. I'm gonna bring you back. And did she create, or is he in the defense mechanism and she's breaking him out of this now? Like, I'm gonna get you out of here because you stuck. You stuck in your mind, you stuck in your body. We're gonna bring you back because there's no more Khonshu now, right? He's trapped. Now, does he temporarily become the avatar for this hippo god? And is this her trying to get him out? Like, all right, here, like, hey, I'm here, because he was like really surprised to see her, right? It's like this big,
Yeah. So was that a hippopotamus goddess at the end? Yes, the goddess Tabret. In Egyptian mythology, Tabret was generally considered a protective deity and was at times associated with childbirth. She is sometimes referred as the Great One and also has some connections to the afterlife. Wow. So your point about the protective deity,
yeah,
right?
Okay,
like she may need to have encased him into this so that he could survive, right? Because this is probably the only way he could. It is just going, and that little last line about the afterlife, it has me with my theory where I think how the show gonna end, right? I don't think they're gonna make it.
Which one?
I don't think Mark. None of them gonna make it.
You don't think Mark is gonna make it? You think Mark going down? Like, wow,
going down. And it kind of like,
because it is a one and done, right? It's like one season.
And done. It's one and done.
Wow, bro.
So can you imagine? And it's so one and done that to the point where they just put it for like the short. They submitted it for like Oscars for the next year.
Yeah.
And the only way, the category that they're in, the only way that they can successfully do that is if it's only a show that it's no longer telling us no more stories, right? Based on
it's like
how it's going. It's a one and done. Right, that's the category that they're in. Like WandaVision, I think they did the same thing. That's how they know Hawkeye's not getting to season 2 because they submitted it. Like now they may have a Hawkeye, obviously, because of Kate Bishop,
right? And I think Oscar Isaac is him too. He don't want to commit. Like,
he wanted done, and Disney not trying to do that either with a lot of people. But I don't think. I actually think he's not going to make it, and it's going to go to the point. Kind of one of the things I had earlier in the thing that I think ultimately, if they're going to continue on with Moon Knight, it's probably going to be Layla.
Yeah, we talked about that, and
I don't think he's going to make it. And after reading that, I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think, again, bro, and this going to a larger theory about why I think and we'll get this another episode, but this goes into a larger theory about why I think they build up these characters like this. They try to build up certain characters, and because they're preparing you for Layla, right?
That's who they're going for.
They're preparing us for Layla. They're like, no, Layla's a badass. Look, you know what I mean? Look, wait, see, she's worthy of taking over this suit. So we're seeing the origins of Layla right now. I guess we're seeing
it's like her origin story.
Yeah, she's good. Like, she's trained and equipped and smart and understands hieroglyphics, and she understands the history. She has
yeah,
because we're getting Layla's Moon Knight, and we're not going to have Oscar Isaac. We're not going to pay Oscar Isaacs. We're not, you know what I mean? Because he'll be like, yeah, you got to pay me. You know what I mean? If you want me to really be Moon Knight in these movies, no, we're not getting that. We're just getting this standalone story. But this is really to build up their iteration of Moon Knight, and that's Layla. Layla's Moon Knight.
Yeah, when she show up again, when they, I don't even think I'd be shocked. Even in this series, if the next person to put on the Moon Knight costume is Mark, she may be the next person to put it on. Like when it actually come back on by the end of the show, that she's the one that puts it on. It won't be Mark.
And we predicted that too.
And we may even like I want to move on. Like I'm like as the kid, not Oscar, but him. So he tired of the trauma.
I think I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
And that's the ultimate sacrifice.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And that was why that's why I wanted you to hear your thoughts on it, because I wanted to know if we, without like too much, I didn't want to influence what you know what I mean? Like,
in fact.
But we in the same place, because we 2 episodes to go. Y'all still won't deal with this third personality, bro. This third personality is gonna be what you said. Like, this is why Mark's not gonna make it, because this third personality is just too damn dangerous. Again, he can't get rid of this thing, right? He don't want to deal with this. So if this thing has control of the Moon Knight costume, you know what I mean? He's gonna, you know, you don't want that. That's a bad combination. So I think it's gonna come down to, I killed your parents, but it was this third personality. I gotta keep you away from me. It's not so much I want to keep you away from Khonshu. I want to keep you away from me and this third personality. And I gotta make the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that this third personality never gets the suit. That never becomes, or we never see whatever version of this third personality of Moon Knight comes up with. We seen Steve got Mr. Knight, Mark got Moon Knight. We don't know what the hell the guy that can't get out, what he gonna come up with.
Yeah,
but it's obviously something that's, that's terrible, and they want to keep it contained. So, I think it comes down to, I'm with you, and I was gonna say the same thing. I don't think. Now, I didn't really say like, okay, Mark wasn't gonna make it, but that make a lot of sense.
I don't think he's gonna make it.
I don't think Mark gonna make it, and it's because of that third personality. I think he's gonna make the ultimate sacrifice. Like, all right, man, bro, we can't let you get out. I'm whatever it's gonna take, and that suit is gonna get transferred to Layla,
which is like you say. Then it turns into the origin story of,
we get this
her popping up as the MCU's vengeance, right?
She's certain things. It's just like, okay, you know what I mean? And I think there's precedent for a female Moon Knight, right? I think it is. But it's just, again,
I think that's the thing, people want to adjust to, because I think a lot of the later runs of everything has precedent for.
Literally, Marvel had like a moment, I think it was like 10 years ago, where they they turned every character a female.
So there's always some version of someone. You have your hero and you have your female version. It's just how they go, like you say, with this, anybody that was excited, and you and I, right? People that's in our bubble. Oh, damn, they doing a Moon Knight, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then like you have a general populace that's not. They just trying to watch. It's not going. They doing that for them, right? Right? Like we walking in, even if they do it, like I actually don't care about that kind of stuff. When they get down, as long as they do it right.
Yeah, no.
When I'm walking in, like I need some Moon Knight.
Yeah, B.
Like I'm already thinking to myself, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, this might be the Midnight Suns. He might show up in the, this might happen this, or this might happen that. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking that's going to happen realistically. Like like I say, it's just theories, right? It could be totally wrong. And then ultimately he signed his deal for the show, and then now they're gonna re-sign him for a couple movies, right? We know he's gonna show up for a couple movies
because we know Blade coming, we know Black Knight coming. There is a third, but go ahead.
Yeah, I would be upset if because the only other thing I can see this ending is that Mark make the sacrifice and Steve get because a lot of people like Steve, man. You go online, man. People like Steve. I'm like, nah, man, but they're not showcasing Mark.
They're not.
Like it's we 4 episodes in, and it's not really Mark. It's been Oscar played Steve more than he's played Mark. Steve has been more impactful in the show. The things that they've had to do, the Indiana Jones type, like Mark can't do. He can get in, and they need to. Hell, he got shot when he turned back to Mark. Like he didn't really help. Right? He didn't really help. No, but Steven was the one that found. He noticed the constellation. Steven's the one that know how to. He can look in, and he was able to understand where to look inside Alexander Paul's in his mouth. That he knew this, that, and the third. Like Steve is that.
Yeah. No, Steve. Yeah, Steve got it, man. Steve. But what I did enjoy too, also, my bad, is I did like finally the dynamic of these two has really been working out. Like that's what I'm saying. Just give me more of that.
I didn't like it last episode.
I didn't like it last.
But they did it very good this
They
episode.
did better this time, and to see them come together and be like, and bro hug it out, like,
Yeah, they was hyped. They was hyped to see each other, wasn't
we made it. You know what I mean?
Yo, pause.
Yeah.
I felt that. I felt that.
Right, I was like, all
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah, pause.
They
I
cool
felt
now,
that.
you know what I mean?
I absolutely felt
Yeah.
that.
We slowly have seen them come together to be like,
Yeah.
man, look, this is where I'm weak, this is where you strong, this is where I'm strong, this is where you weak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When
And
they got to, when
that
they saw
dynamic
each
works.
other, man, they was
geek.
legit excited.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and they knew each other, right? They was like,
They
okay, I know who
knew
you
each
are.
other.
You know,
No, because they both going through it.
they both going through it. So
Hey, yeah, but the thing is, man, like I've definitely been positive. I'm not gonna be, because I've been negative this whole time.
right. I know I have.
The possibilities what they about to do with this next episode, because there's only two left, right?
Yeah.
The penultimate, if you look at these Disney shows that have come out, these Marvel MCU plus shows, whatever you want to call it, Disney Plus MCU shows, is that it's not the final episode, the one to do it, it's the penultimate, what they call the penultimate episode. So this one is like what it's all been leading to, and then the last episode seems to kind of like tie a ribbon on it, right?
Yeah.
To me. And even Wanda, right? Wanda kind of tied a ribbon. It was the fifth one. She got to the end and said, "You're the Scarlet Witch."
That shit was
that was it. But it was
right. You really can't. Yeah, exactly.
But it was
really go up from there. You just kind
of, they had a battle at the end and all that, and cool. They did what they had cool. But the moment was that when she went through the whole thing where you saw her seeing the Mind Stone, and when they was with her family and watching TV shows, and her being in the thing with Vision at the compound, like it was all leading up to that. Like that was the one. Right? Yeah. Like, damn, okay, this is where we at. All of them have been like this. Episode 5, or the episode before the final episode, right? And I think next episode, whatever happened in 6 has happened in last. But then this next one, I don't know if they're gonna do a lot of flashbacks, or he gonna have to like come to Jesus moment, like remember when Tony in Iron Man 2 got to the point where he's able to, when his moment where like he saw the new Adam, right? He just got into it with Pep, and then he was looking past and he saw the Stark pavilion. Yeah, and he looked at it, and then he saw it, and then he was like, "Oh shit!" And he took it to the house, and like that was that moment, like that was like this coming to Jesus kind of moment. He had his epiphany.
Yeah,
he gonna have an epiphany in this episode that's gonna lead him to where it's gonna lead up to that. Like, so I don't know if it's this Hippo is guiding him to that, or him and Steve got to go through a bunch of little challenges to get to that, to where they actually now they've gotten through it and they have control and they can, but it's all going to lead to this right now. What it's leading to, it's anybody's guess.
Yeah, it's
anybody's guess.
That's why
I have no idea what I'm going to.
That's what I love about it. Yeah,
I know she's gonna be goofy. They gonna because they got to do it right. She gonna be comic relief, and then but you got to see it inside yourself, honey, and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
We know we getting there. Yeah,
you got to find it inside.
She even was goofy with, I don't know who the voice actress was, but she right away, hey, you know what I mean? You know, you saw it right away. You was like, oh, like,
hey, you know what's crazy? Hippos are dangerous. That's the thing about it. Like they kill us, man. She's like, hey,
you know, like.
I'm only surprised it wasn't like. I'm glad he didn't do the 1940s sister voice, like, bro, hey child, you know that shit. You know, like,
child, I've been waiting for you. Mark, you're in danger. You know, when we go over, danger, girl. I told you not to be talking to Layla. Yeah, all that shit, you know. Bro,
man, I just knew when I saw the hippo, it was good, man. We was gonna get blackface, man. Not to say that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I knew it was. I knew it was coming. Like,
I was about to be a goddamn Mamie.
It might have been Jar Jar all over again, man.
She better not be no hippo man.
I just knew it was coming. She still had like I knew that, but you supposed to be.
About time you came around.
You supposed to Ben came over here and all that action.
all the neck and all that shit. Yeah,
Man, I
don't
just
do
knew
that
it.
shit.
When I seen it in my mind.
Yo.
Ooh, child. So
Mark,
you got two
I ain't
ears
just
and one mouth for a reason.
right.
Like, just saying shit.
You got a head full of crickets, whatever. It's just some dumbass stereotypical saying.
Man, I knew
I
female
was
Jar
like,
Jar was
oh
coming.
man, don't do that.
They did like it don't sound like they doing that. I want actually want to see the actions. I want to see
it sound like it might be like a white,
Yeah.
voice actress, but it's clearly gonna be like you said. I was thinking the exact same thing. It's gonna be a sit down moment, or she gonna be like fading in and out, like, come on, you can do it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you need to pay attention. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like one of those, oh, it's right in front of you moments, but you don't see it, but it's right in front of you. Just look harder or think or stop trying.
She's not gonna let him. She's not gonna, if she protective, really what she's doing, she's protecting what he does. She's not gonna let him go
right
until he's ready.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna have a moment where he showed that he's ready. And it's probably gonna be both of them. And they might have to deal with what's in that coffin. You know what I'm saying? They might have to backtrack and go deal with what's in that coffin.
Yeah. What if and I'm just throwing out. But what if? Well, yeah, you're right, B. What if what's in the coffin is what he been needing this whole time? Like, what if that's because he's avoiding this, whatever it is, and what if the coffin or the keep saying coffin, the tomb, what if that represents what he really is, his true self that he locked away? Maybe he is a murderer and a cold-hearted mercenary who created these other two identities to cope with the fact that you're not a good guy. Like, what if that's the real Mark?
What if Jake is the real dude?
Yeah, like what if Jake is the guy, and Jake is this? Oh no, man, I'm a cold-hearted mercenary, B, who just got DID. While the other two personalities took over. Mark being the main. To say like, man, we can't beat this guy, bro. Because Mark, and again, tying back to Layla, maybe they fell in love with Layla. Layla is the key of what
She said that. She said that like that's how we met. Like the father thing is what put us together. Like we didn't have a thing before. I don't even know who you are. It's the father thing.
Yeah.
And you were the one who probably did it, or you knew what happened. You knew the whole story, but we only had a relationship because of that. And it could have been Jake, and we know it's Jake or this third entity that did it. But you raise a good point. That may be who he was. He became Mark in that moment when he saw her.
He was like, I'm Mark. Who are you?
To protect her from Jake. Yeah. To protect her from Jake, he had to be Steven.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jake was going to come. Jake was going to take back over. Right. Mark couldn't stop Jake. Right. He had to add another one. And he had Steve to protect Layla, not from Mark, but from Jake. Because Jake is the real one. And that's the person that got to get defeated. That may be the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah,
and ultimately, he may be the point where he had to become vengeance. Like, he somebody else got to be vengeance because Mark can't be Mark. Khonshu made Jake Mark, right? Khonshu made him Mark to handle the vengeance, right?
Yeah,
Fist of Vengeance,
right?
Yeah, they should have never used that line. If they should have kept Steven being billionaire. If they want to steal some Batman shit, they should have kept Steven being billionaire because vengeance is Batman.
He owned that shit.
That shit that I watched the other day.
Nigga, we gonna get to that. Oh man, vengeance.
That got me we about to go. I want to start. That got me questioning my whole thing about the movie theater experience now. How dope that shit was in my house.
Thank you. I said the exact same thing. I'm questioning now. I'm like, damn, because that shit was 2 times better in my house.
It was so good in my house, bro.
My rating went up because I gave it an 8. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10.
It's so
coming out of the theater,
house, bro.
Nigga, at the house, I was like, "This is a masterpiece.
It's a perfect 10 out of 10 movie.
The music, the sound effects.
It's a perfect.
The score was way better. Because I thought the score was like the Batman theme, and then the rest of that shit was just like whatever. Nigga, that whole score slap.
The entire thing, man.
The whole thing slaps every scene. I'm like, what, bro? Yeah, I'm like thinking now, like, man, that's the first time. I don't know if it's the first time, but since in this 2-year COVID stretch that we've been going through with straight to streaming and everything with HBO, that's the first time where I was like, oh, it's better at home. It's better. The Batman is better at home, in my opinion.
The Batman was better. I saw Batman 2 times in the theaters. The third time I watched it, it was better, and that was at my crib.
Nigga, I was like,
everything.
I watched it on my TV now and my phone. Both better than the movie, with my AirPods in. Both better than the theater experience.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, we'll get to that.
We
gotta have a whole thing about
right, that's
that.
A separate, but to wrap this up, man.
Yeah, with this, I just like I say, I'm with you, and I want to hear your point because I know, as I was watching it, and bro. Let's keep it a buck. I'm easily hyped. Then I have to kind of think back, right? So as I'm watching it, it was a thrill ride. It definitely was. Now you point out some great points that maybe I had to really think was like, yeah, conceptually there were just things, and maybe when they come to the point where they make the whole behind, every time they do it for Disney, they'll do like a symbol kind of thing. Like I just saw one that they're coming out with soon for Boba. Like when they go behind the scene, they coming out with that, right? Yeah. They do it for Mando, and it's always cool. Maybe they may have some things that they may do it for. I haven't watched like actually any, but this may be a good one to watch because they had to make some. TV shows are like that, man. TV shows are like that, like, and there's an adjustment that we have to have as, because I always think like, why every episode got to end with a cliffhanger? But like, you know what? Unless it's been like a comedy show that I watched, like The Office or something. Anything that's kind of not a comedy always ends with a cliffhanger with a TV show. Right. Like it always have to get you to come back next week. Right. Yeah. Well, it's like,
especially towards the end.
Yeah. It's always something like that. So it's like, why we have to lead, why we go through this dull part, then we get to this crescendo and this exciting thing at the end, and that's it. So there's adjustment when it comes to making a TV show that it's just not like a movie cut up in 5 parts. It's that you got to do for a TV show, probably to keep the general public in it. So there's an adjustment period that we may have to have and adjusting to. That's not what I want to do, but we may have to like, okay, an MCU movie is not the same as a MCU movie. You have one director for the whole thing. MCU TV show, you have probably 5. You might have 6 different directors. Seeing their 6 different visions where they say, we have this kind of feel versus that kind of feel. Or if they give it a lot of things, they got different things that actors want to try. They I just saw something where they said Oscar midway through kind of changed his method. Right? There was a thing he felt like he needed to change, I think, as he got new information about something or vice versa. Right? Like I have to pull the article back up, but I had it in my head the other day where he even changed throughout the show. And different, so there's different things like that again. But I say all that to say this: it was a thrill ride the entire way through. And the beautiful thing about this episode is that when I was everything up until he got shot, I was like, okay, here we go. I can hear we going.
Yeah.
Once we went into the mental institution, I was like, I don't know what the fuck. And that was probably the most enjoyable part I had about it because I had no clue.
Yeah,
I couldn't. There was nothing for me to figure out.
Yeah, that was a great moment, man. When they switch over to this institute. Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm like, yo, bro, what is this? Because I'm like, is he really here? Because I'm like, yeah, he's not really here. But I'm like, this shit dope. He meet up with Mark. You're like, okay, all right, it's in his mind. At that part, you're like, okay, he's not physically here, right? He's not at some mental institute, and he didn't dream this thing up the whole time. But still, you like, damn, for that little moment thinking that it was, you was like, or it could have been. You like, damn, is this the show? But no, him meeting up with his once Mark found Steve.
Once he found Steve, I knew it wasn't a dream.
You knew it wasn't a dream.
I'm lying. I'm saying once he found Steve, it was like, okay, my thought about it may have all been in his head. I was like, nah, this ain't all in his head because he wouldn't have met Steve that way.
Yeah, he's in his body and he's in his mind and he's somewhere.
And Hippo Goddess
and Hippo Goddess is protecting him. She created this. Hippo or Auntie Hippo and shit, you know. Girl,
I hope it's not Auntie Hippo. Hippo Goddess, I'm with that.
Now look, you gotta
Hippo
you gotta get right, Mark. Okay, listen. First, man, but nah, thankfully, they didn't go, they didn't get a black woman to play. You know what I mean? They didn't do that.
They didn't get your mama out here.
Yeah, they ain't get Mamie Hippo.
Yeah, I hope they ain't get Mammy.
Nah, this is gonna be
yo, Mammy. Yeah, and I feel like this too, bro. And we gonna move on. I feel like with this episode, after this, okay, I had to get over, and there's a part of just getting over it. This ain't the Moon Knight I wanted.
Yeah.
So let that go, bro. Once we got to the institution, I gotta let that go if I'm gonna
it's over.
So because I'm gonna go in because up like beginning the first one was my most hyped, right? Yeah. Once we got to the point where when he beat that dude down at the end of the first episode, hell yeah. Yep. This is what I was looking for.
Marvel's
about to go from that.
Yeah,
we never did go back from that. Because that wasn't the show that they was doing.
That's not what they want to do.
They wasn't giving us that Moon Knight. So okay, that's not okay. So now look at it from the mental institution on. Am I gonna enjoy? Because I really did enjoy that. I didn't enjoy from the moment he whooped his ass in the bathroom up until he got shot. I was like, oh, okay, what are they doing? I'm hating because I'm predisposed to knowing what I want. That's what I felt like I was getting the way the previews, everything I was getting into. When I got to the mental institution, I'm like, oh, this is what I can get into. Because now it's like we dealing with the duality. But kind of what I thought we was gonna get to when we got to the part, not that particular scene. Yeah. But like, okay, we really about to be dealing with everything he got going on.
Yeah.
That's a lot about the Moon Knight is everything that he got going on.
And it's the broader world. And I think ultimately what we're gonna come to is this show is about higher beings and them. And what the MCU has always been about is gods are higher beings messing around with humanity, and what effect does that have on humanity, and what effect does that have on the gods, right? Because whether it's Eternals or Thanos, it's ultimately about, man, what's going on with these humans and
interfering.
Interfering with humans and
it's like there's always a higher element, and then they always have the internal human struggle.
Yeah, exactly. So
internal human struggle.
That's really what this is about.
They kind of walk that line.
Yeah, that's what it's about. And
dealing with that, and then then it's their internal struggle that you got to have. Your coming of age story, right?
Right.
Because it kind of always, and that's a tried and true kind of element, and it's always been dope. I'm not going, but that got. When we got to that point, I was like, oh, okay. Because, because him having his relationship problems with the two personalities, like she don't know who to date. Okay, cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was heavy on that. But once we got to that, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, this shit is dope. Yeah, because you like, man, it's so much bigger than whatever they was talking about in the little truck ride or whatever. You weren't going to tell me? But to get to that, you like, okay, bad. I'll take this. I was like, because you're right. I had to let go moment where I'm like, man, this shit ain't about Moon Knight. This shit ain't about Moon Knight. This shit ain't about Mark. This shit not really about Steve. It's not even a real Steve. It's this made up Steve. And it's like, basically, just coming to the realization that It's not gonna be about this guy who fights injustice or vengeance or whatever in the night when the moon comes up, and it's not about that, man. This is about the broader universe and these guys and the introduction of these guys and what part they play in the MCU, and him being a tool in between him and Harold, their human struggle, them being tools for the guys and them going at each other through these two figures, the ideals of the gods or whatever, right? I want to just rule the world. Well, I just want to avenge the weak or whatever.
What if we get at the end or get closer, like through this next one, that the Steve we got ain't even the real Steve? Like, no, he really is like once he get out of this protective case in the end, that no, the real Steve was the billionaire Steve. That was probably his museum. You get what I'm saying? Like the real Steve come out.
Wouldn't it make sense?
You get what I'm saying? Like, he had that was a defense Steve.
Damn, that's a good one.
The real Steve is the one he invented.
He's the billionaire, yeah.
To fund what he was doing.
Yeah, right.
Like the real Steve.
Because ask yourself, we don't have 4 episodes in. I know
the real fake Steve.
Right. We don't have we don't have this idea of like where the hell Mark came from. How did he become a mercenary? How do you become a mercenary? Because all this shit is expensive, right? When you doing expeditions and stuff like that, man, that costs
sponsored, bro.
Millions of dollars.
Millions.
So it's like, who hired her Layla's dad? Why were they there? Was he there as millionaire? Hey, I'm gonna come with you guys. I like to be hands-on.
I'm hands-on with mine.
Next thing you know, he flipped, kill everybody. Oh, that was me. That's my other personality. It was like, all right, here come these other 2 personalities to take over fake Steve, fake real Steve. Yeah, that's actually a good theory, man. That's a good theory. Which I can accept that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah. And it would be true to the comics to an extent, because he'd be a millionaire, Steve. But somebody got some money though. Who funded this trip? So that's the question I gotta ask. And that's why I could see that being a possibility, is who funded all these expeditions? Maybe it's eccentric billionaire Steve. But it's just a theory. And I know they are trying to distance themselves from Bruce Wayne and Batman. So they probably he might just be little weak Steve. But I do think that personality that's locked in there, I think that's who Mark really is. He trying to hide from it. He trying to keep it encased.
That's the real one. Because
that guy's whoever that guy is, whether we right or not about that, I think that guy's a murderer. That's in that song. I think that guy's the one who pulled the trigger.
They done combined comic Jake with comic was it Bushman?
Bushman was the
because that was the one who really killed the based on, because they, like I say, even Layla being who she is really supposed to be in that other Laura or something like that. What if like I say that they put Bushman and Jake together, but that's who is in that the coffin and that tomb, but that's his other personality. Right. I can say it can go anywhere, man. I think I think who he got to confront. So I think it's going to be the 2 battles, right? Who he got to confront, which is himself, to get out of that protected thing. He may come up out when he come back up out that water. He may mess around, be Moon Knight. I guess my theory. I don't think that he putting on a suit ever again. I think she will. But it could be he come out, like you say, he had that moment. He defeat who he needed to defeat in that.
Because Khonshu right there, right? Or Khonshu?
No, Khonshu's still in. I don't think he's in that pyramid that they in. Because
Khonshu be the right. So either she's going to get some suit we haven't seen yet, or she gonna become Moon Knight. But I think Khonshu got to be there, right? I think he got. Again, man.
And then he said somebody gonna have to free Khonshu.
Yeah,
he said it. I don't know how he gonna do it. And maybe this is Well, we can get deep. We're gonna have another Theory Expo before the show come out, because now we probably get to the point where it kind of garner one, but maybe they're getting to a situation where, because he got to go free on, maybe where they're at is a realm right now. So they may not even be mentally like she done took his essence or whatever you want to call it, and they're in a realm, right? And he may ultimately have access to being able to go get to Khonshu through Hippopotamus. Right? Where he at, he probably can go get the Khan.
Hippopotamus. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably can go get the Khan. I don't know, man. I gotta think about that one. You know,
man,
as opposed
to Moon Knight dropped. They dropped one though.
Yeah, because how would he? Because how would he make sure Mark come free me? And it's like, how would he? Because he has to be able to get to the realm, right, or some way, like to be able to
like
come.
Invited almost, right?
Here they go. He got to go see the gods.
They like summoned Harold. Like, hey,
yeah, he got to go be able to see the gods. He probably got to go where they are. Where they call that realm? Where they at? The outer realm or something. They call it something.
Yeah, they call it the Overvord.
Yeah.
Overvord.
It's probably where he at right now.
I still think the guy's getting slaughtered. I'm still sticking to that theory.
You think Ahmed going when they?
We're gonna see the wrath of Ahmed. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna slaughter them guys. I can see it now. The scene walking in, they all dead. All the avatars. I don't know. Maybe the guys too, you know, but yeah, I think at least those avatars are dying. I think they all gonna get slaughtered. There's no big name actors there. There's nobody there that looks like they're gonna be in a movie. They get slaughtered.